everyone, it's Wit, and we are going on to linear equations in one variable level 3 difficulty. I double checked the answer keys and I got all the level 2 right, so I'm counting that as 100% mastery. Let's see how level 3 is. So far I'm 100% on all these questions. It may change here, but that's okay. Alright, Hector uses a tool called Algebra to remove blah blah constant rate. That lets me know that's a linear equation, right? So I'm immediately thinking y equals mx plus b. That's in the back of my brain. I want to come up with some sort of function for this. We start off with 24,000 bushels. And we have x number of hours, so x is h now. And now slope. Slope is equal to change of y over change of x. And Hector changed from 19,350 minus 2,400, 24,000 over 5 hours. So the slope of this is negative 930 bushels per hour. If the auger continues to move at the corner at this rate, will be the total number of hours. Let's solve for h. When this many bushels of corn are left. 12,840 equals negative 930h plus 24000. I'm not doing solver, I'm just going for it. In my calculator, I get 12. Wonderful. Isolation of variables here, or solver function. Let's see, we've got 10 of these questions. Alan drives an average of 100 miles each week. His car can travel an average of 25 miles per gallon. Alan would like to reduce his weekly expenditure on gasoline by $5, assuming gas costs $4 per gallon. Which equation can Alan use to determine how many fewer average miles M should he drive each week? Okay. Let's focus more on the gas stuff. Yeah. Okay. Alan drives an average of 100 miles per week. His car can travel an average of 25 miles per gallon. So, if you want to spend $5 less on gas a week, you need to use up, let's say, 5/4 less gallons of gas. Why is this? Let's scratch that. Let's think about this a different way. 100 miles per week. 25 miles per gallon. And there are $4 per gallon. Which equation can Alan use to determine how many fewer average miles he should drive in a week? Okay. No, that's good. That is just me being real. I'm like, my brain's not working right. So, he should drive each week. I know, just from reading this and like understanding it, that we need to go 1.125 less miles. Let's see. $4 dollars per gallon times divided by 5 miles per gallon. It's 0.80 dollars per mile. That's not feeling right. Which equation can Alan use to determine how many fewer average miles he should drive per week? Let's put a star next to this one and come back to it. I think that's what I would do on the test too. All right. The given equation, k is constant, the equation has no solutions. What is the value of k? All right, let's distribute. 3kx plus 39 equals 4d8 over 17x plus 36 equals 4,8 over 17x minus 3. Cool. Okay, let's see. For this to have no solutions, in a perfect world, these two things would be the same. Because it's impossible for this and this to be equal if there's a negative 3 on this side. So what we're thinking is 3k is equal to 48 over 17. And that will mess us up and make it so there's no solutions. All right, so 51k equals 48. K equals 48 over 51. That's the answer I'm going with. It's all based off that no solution line right there. Okay. A certain product costs $65 to make. The product is sold by a salesperson who earns commission that is equal to 20% of the sales price of the product. The profit the company makes for each unit is equal to the sales price minus the combined cost of making the product and the commission. If the sales price of the unit is $100, which of the following equations would give you the number of units the product, the number of units of the product this company must sell to make a profit of that? So profit is equal to, it tells us, is equal to sales price minus cost minus commish. Let's, I'll call it com, right? So, this person is going to sell 100 of, for each one they sell, you make that much. Minus 65, however much you sell. Minus 20% of how much they sell. Sales price. So 20s. Or 0.2 times 100s is what I'd say. Cool. All right. When I said S, that's another way of saying units. So we have 100 minus 65 minus 20 units, or 15 per unit. That will equal that. And this looks like the same thing as this. It's just that it's distributed out. Yeah. We're going to go with that. What's the value? Okay, finally. It says it's a difficulty 3, but it doesn't feel like it. Solve 5x plus 3, close parenthesis, minus 7x plus 3 equals 38. Solve for x. I get that x equals negative 22. Right into the solver function. Now, if you wanted to do this by hand, I noticed that both of those binomials are the same. So I could call u equal to t plus 3. So 5u minus 7u equals 38. That means negative 2u equals 38. U equals half of 38 is negative 19. So t plus 3 equals negative 19. T equals negative 22. So I still agree with that value. Alrighty. Here's some data. We got different properties, purchase price, and rental price, which would be how much we sink, how much we gain if we were investing in these properties, right? Townsend Realty Group invested in 5 different properties listed in the table below. The table shows the amount in dollars the company paid for each property and the corresponding monthly rental prices in dollars the company charges for the property of each of the 5 locations. Townsend Realty purchased the Glenview property and received a 40% discount off the original price, along with 20% off the discounted price for purchasing property in cash. Okay, it's very important to note that it's 20% off the discounted price, not the total new price. Which of the following best approximates the approximate price in dollars of the Glenview Street property? All right. A lot of this stuff is superfluous. Don't care about that. Don't care about any of the properties other than Glenview. All right. So there's a 40% discount off the original price. So 140K times 60%. Then we took that and took off an additional 20%, which meant I multiplied by 80%, because that's what remains, right? So 140 times 0.6 times 0.8. Ooh, I do not get one of the answers. Pause. Let's make sure I'm not making a silly mistake. Okay. Townsend Realty purchased the Glenview Street property and received a 40% discount off the original price. If you got 40% off, that would leave you having to pay for 60% of it. Oh, okay. This is how much we actually pay for it. That's how much they purchased it for. So we're going backwards. All right. So discounted price is equal to original price. No. I'm messing up on what variables to use, and that's a dumb thing to spend time on. What I'm trying to say is, let's focus on the second thing first. If you're taking 20% off of something, you multiply by 80%. Now we're doing the opposite. We're trying to go backwards. So we're not going to multiply by 80%, we're going to divide by 80%. So 1,400,000 divided by 0.80%. And this would have given us a discount price before we decided to pay cash for it. So 140,000 divided by 0.8. And that's this value. Now this was still a discounted price, right? So that's still the discounted price. So now that gets divided by the other discount, which was 60%, or we had to only pay for 60% of it. Divide by 0.6. I get B, roughly, as the answer. Okay. I saw that all of these were above the value given in this table. That's what made me switch gears and think, oh, we're not going lower than 140,000. So that was something I used there. Cool. Each side of a 30-side polygon has one of three lengths. The number of sides with 8 centimeters is 5 times the number of end sides with length 3 centimeters. And there are 6 sides with 4 centimeters. Which equation must be true for the value of n? So that's just number of sides. Not much to do with the length. So, there are, let's talk about the 3 centimeter side, the 4 centimeter side, and the 8 centimeter side. There's n of these, there's 6 of these, and there's n plus 3 of these. And all the sides have to add up to 30. So we have n plus 6 plus n plus 3 equals 30. Oh, that was dumb. Pause. One was a mistake. The number of sides with 8 centimeters is 5 times n. All right, cool. So 6n plus 6 equals 30. We're going to go with the answer B. Had to double check, reread that. 3 more questions. If this is true, the value of x plus 6 is between which of the 2 following pairs? Let's just see if we can figure out what x equals. I think we could do that in a solver. Solve, parentheses, yeah, x plus 6 over 3 is equal to x plus 6 . It's equal to x plus 6 over 13. Solve for x. And I get that x equals negative 6. The only thing that falls in between is a. So don't get too confused about what it must be between what 2 pairs. Let's just figure out what x equals. Cool. Equation blah, blah, blah has no solutions. Which of the following must be true? Okay. A definitely needs to be 9. That's the only way we're going to get a no solution thing. All right. B. B could be equal to 5. You see, you might think, wait a second, that would give an infinite number of solutions. But don't forget that 5 is getting multiplied by A. So that's not going to be a problem. The only problem of switching these no solutions to infinite number of solutions is if the B value, if these two things were equal to each other. So I have a feeling that that's going to be an issue. 9x plus 5 equals 9x plus 5 over 9. Let's see if this throws some sort of problem. That distributes out. 9x plus 5 equals 9x plus 5. That's the one thing we cannot have happen for there to be no solutions. So 1 and 3 must be true. This could be true. All right, last question. Science teacher is preparing 5 stations of a science laboratory. Each station will have either experiment A material or experiment B material, but not both. Experiment A requires 6 tablespoons of salt, and B is just 4 tablespoons of salt. If X is the number of stations that will be set up for experiment A, and the remaining will be for B, which of the following expressions represents the total number of spoons of salt required? Okay. So number of A experiments is called X. Number of B experiments is everything other than the X. So it's 10. Now let's see. The 10 was just a made up number. 5 minus X. Cool. So now we want to get this in terms of table salt. In experiment A, there'll be 6 tablespoons of salt required, plus 5 minus X. But this requires 4 tablespoons of salt, and it will equal the total amount of salt. I don't think that the fact that it equals salt is important, but anyways, let's distribute. 6x minus 4x plus 20 equals the total amount of salt we used. So 2x plus 20 equals total amount of salt we used. We're going to go with C. All right, we're going to go back to that one that was giving me trouble. I'm going to give myself 3 minutes to do it, and then if not, I'm going to take the L. All right. Alan drives the average of 100 miles per week. His car travels that. Alan wants to reduce his weekly expenditure of gas by $5. I think for that reason, something's going to equal 5. So I'm going with B or D. And then each mile. Ooh, let's figure out how much miles, like how many dollars is each mile? How many dollars does it take per mile? So we get 25 miles per gallon. And there are, I thought I just had it. And we have $4 per gallon. If we divide those, we get 4 over 25 miles or dollars per mile. So, if we want to save $5, $5 will equal the number of, or dollars per mile times the number of miles we drive. So my final answer is D. I feel like I didn't do a great job explaining that, but we're going with it because of time's sake. All right, stopping there. I'll double check this. I'm feeling like I could have missed something, in which case I will take the time and figure out why I missed it. And on to English stuff for today.